Big Ten basketball also, like I said, tonight, 9 games on tap. Indiana is hosting Kennesaw State in their final non-conference tussle before they jump into it again with Nebraska next week. Xavier Johnson, whether he plays or not, is what has been the kind of storyline there. If he returns tonight, or do they wait one more week? Because that's exact. Osterman was on just earlier, and he pointed out, that's a whole nother week.
Are they gonna try to get him another year of eligibility?
I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. But it's actually not a whole nother week, though. I mean, they play on the 3rd, I believe. So, but I think that he plays tonight, but I also don't know how much. And that is going to be the beginning of them having, they've been playing without him. He's been playing without the team, or he hasn't been playing with the team. So there's a lot Indiana's got to get together as they head into Big Ten play.
Well, now's the time, right? Because, with the terrible Illinois news, the number 2 spot in the Big Ten is wide open. The Big Ten is desperate for any team to put any stretch of talent together. And I've never been big on this Indiana team, but it's hard to argue that their ceiling isn't as high as anyone else in the conference below Purdue. There's nothing on their roster that says they can't get 2nd or 3rd in the Big Ten. And that will probably mean more in NCAA tournament than it should, but that should guarantee a decent seeding at least.
And just be helpful, period, because this is a year where you probably need that little bit of extra help. And like you said, the Big Ten is not exactly flush with great teams. This may be, this is one of the weaker years in quite a few, I'd say.
No, it absolutely
unknown is maybe that's an unknown. There's so much unknown. It's like, well, what's Maryland going to be like? Are they going to be great at home and bad on the road again? What's Ohio State going to be like? What will Illinois be like? What's Iowa going to be like? There's a lot of unknowns. We know what Purdue is. Right. That's it. We thought we knew what Michigan State was, but we were wrong. But then were we right again? Yeah. So there's just a lot of questions yet to be answered.
Yeah, there are. There has been a real lack of just talent coming into the Big Ten the last couple of years. Guard play is, I would say, one of the lowest points it's been in a while. And you just look around the league, there's not a whole bunch of guys that could really take over. Michigan State has 1 or 2, but they play very hard basketball. Tyson Walker lives on really tough shots. IU is a young team still trying to figure out what it is. Iowa, Illinois now, does their season completely just fold? I wasn't that particularly impressed with them beforehand. Even they have one good win. And people were wanting to kind of anoint them as challengers. And it really does feel like Purdue might run away with this one by 4-5 games, which is pretty unheard of.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go that far yet. There's no doubt that everything keeps leading more and more in their favor, but there's always those games that you don't expect. There was 2 or 3 games last year that they didn't lose, but that they were very close games that were unexpected at Nebraska, the Ohio State game, but that always pops up along the way. There's just nights where, for whatever, people don't have good nights. Sometimes you can't explain it, but it's just going to be interesting to see who's the surprise team this year. Who are your candidates to be your surprise team of the year? Mine is Nebraska.
Okay. I don't know if Wisconsin counts as a surprise team. I think they'll be up at the top. I think Northwestern, when it comes down to it, in close games, I'm going to trust Boo Buie over most players in the conference. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're up at the top of the Big Ten again. I still have a hard time believing in that Nebraska team. Um, I think when your most exciting offensive player is that much of a liability on defense, I think it's hard to sustain it. Will they knock teams off? Absolutely, but they're going to lose games that they shouldn't. Um, Iowa is a decent team. I Ohio State, I think, is the most solid rotational, like front to back of their roster. That if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably have them second in the Big Ten.
And it very well could be because they're one of those teams that I had put in the middle there. Don't know what they're going to be like just yet, and we'll certainly be finding out. But and as the season goes on, things change as well. 9 teams, 9 games on the Big Ten slate tonight. All 9 of them are Big Ten arenas or Big Ten home games. Penn State hosting Rider, Indiana, of course, Kennesaw State. Number 1, Purdue has Eastern Kentucky coming in. That's just a nice little tune-up for the Boilers that they should win by about 40.
Eastern Kentucky is giving up 45% shooting from 3. They are the worst team in the country. The very bottom. And they have no one on their roster over 6'8". So they
Does Zach attempt his first 3-point shot tonight?
I would not put it past him. I think it's been a wink. Like they've gotten close to getting him one. He's taken a couple where he stepped on the line. Like Eastern Kentucky plays a zone, but it is usually you have to make a couple passes to move the zone. From the tape I've watched, if you just look a certain way, they will move away from the ball. So I think that's a good call. I think Zach Edey in front of a Mackey crowd. Look for it. I'm going to guess first possession of the second half because they've done it before where they drew up a play for him after being up big in the first half. And I think it'll be right at the top of the key. I think it'll be Brandon Smith doing a little lob over his head back to him. And I think the big boy is going to have the green light. And if he makes it, Jim, that place is going to go insane.
Of course it would.
Like, I think they set the decibel record at Mackey last year again. And I think it was this game, the last one before students came back. And I think it was a David Jenkins 3 right as the buzzer was going. This will get louder than that.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't already because as tall as he is, first of all, you've got to be up on him to defend that shot or have some great hops because he can just stand flat-footed and shoot it as if it's a free throw because in essence, it is a free throw to his big monstrous body. And that's a shot that he can probably get down. I would imagine. I'm sure there's something he practices.
Yeah, I've seen him shoot a 3. It doesn't look as bad as it should for someone that's 7'4". Making it in a game is obviously a little different. I think you speed yourself up more than anything, especially.
Oh yeah,
he's going to feel that moment a little bit. So it would be a fun moment to end the non-conference on. So definitely rooting for it. This team, has done everything right in the non-conference so far. That would be a nice little cherry on top of the 3rd straight sweep of the non-conference schedule.
The old friends of the Boilermakers, Fairleigh Dickinson, playing Illinois tonight.
Careful.
Playing at Illinois tonight. I bring that up only because Illinois, the only other ranked team playing tonight. And I'm like, wow, is that
right
with the bad, the stuff that they're dealing with. Is that a time to catch a team kind of mentally not into it?
What is the energy going to be like in that arena? Obviously Illinois fans pretty just, disgusted. And it's one of those things where in theory a team can galvanize behind it, but like, what a shot. Just like, if the news is true, awful.
Right as the conference play is coming for them, and not good for the Big Ten either.
No, and Illinois,
as far as other teams,
right? And Illinois has a history of being a team that's kind of not exactly had the strongest resolve the last few years under Brad Underwood. So like it could be, that could be a damning bit of news and the end of the season collapse for Illinois.